Hey guys, it's Musicals here, and welcome to another Gamer Stand. Today I have a very special guest with us, indie developer, composer, how do you say your name? I'm sorry.
That's all right, it's French. Jean-Marc Giffen.
John McAfee, thank you. Anyways...
John Muffin, if you will.
Okay, well, it's great to have you here on Gamer Stand, dude. So, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do?
All right, yeah, I'm Jean-Marc Giffen. I work primarily with Handelabra games. We take tabletop board and card games and turn them into digital games. And I do programming for that on the rules side, to make sure the game works the way it's supposed to, without needing to worry my programming mind about Unity-related UI stuff too much. And I also compose the music for those games, and occasionally some other unrelated projects.
Oh, okay, that's pretty impressive, dude. Well, so how'd you get your start with sorry, this is my first time actually interviewing somebody, so I'm a little nervous about this, but I just again, if I seem a little slow, guys, cooperate with me. Anyway, so
No problem.
How'd you get your start up, man? Like, where did all this come from?
Well, originally I had been doing programming for business software, and it was a nice working environment with a really great company, but the two sort of issues with that particular line of work is that, one, I wasn't extremely invested personally in the things we were actually programming, even though I really liked the people I was programming with. And two, it didn't allow me to exercise any of the music background that I have pretty much since I took piano lessons when I was 7, or I can't remember exactly what age, but somewhere around there. And so I actually started with a failed Kickstarter project, which I won't name, but I spent about a year working on programming and music for that game, and then the whole project sort of fell apart. So I just kind of threw my hands up. I'm like, well, I guess that's that. But then a friend of mine had a friend of his who was looking for somebody to do some programming for a game he was working on, and I didn't know much about it at the time, but I went there and basically just brought the stuff that I'd been working on for the past year, because that's pretty much the only game-related work that I had to show. And so when I did, and we also talked about music, because they said, oh, well, we'll be looking for a composer. I was like, oh, well, I also compose. So we did the interview, and it turned out that I was a good fit for what they wanted, and that was to bring the card game Sentinels of the Multiverse, to make a digital version of that. And so in 2014 we started, and that's what we did, and we did all the expansions. So we just finished up early this year with all the expansion contents for Sentinels.
Oh wow, that's amazing, dude. That's so amazing. So what other projects have you had a hand in over there other than this Sentinels project?
Yep. So our other projects along the line, our second one was Bottom of the Ninth. So that had a very like old-timey nostalgia baseball feel to it. The next one after that was called One Deck Dungeon, and it's a roguelike dungeon crawler for 1 to 2 players cooperatively. And the one that's in early access on Steam now is called Aeon's End. It's another cooperative game in which the players play as a group of mages protecting the last city on Earth from supernatural threats. There's a new one each night that they have to deal with. And then the next project we'll be kicking off is Spirit Island, in which the players play as spirits of an island protecting the natives from foreign invaders.
Wow, that sounds really cool. So I'll leave a link below in the description to that early access game you mentioned, and I'll have to check them all out myself. That sounds impressive. So I know that you probably haven't been asked this yet, but are any of those planned to come to consoles at any time soon, or do you guys not have any plans at the moment?
We've been talking about putting our games on consoles pretty much since we started Sentinels almost 5 years ago now, but the right opportunity to get it onto consoles hasn't come up yet. So it's something we're always trying to look into. We just need the right sort of avenue to do that.
Hey.
So right now, most of our games are on. They're definitely all on Steam, and we try and get most of them onto mobile as well, especially tablets.
Okay. Well, I wish you guys luck, and hopefully the opportunity will present itself. So, a couple other questions I wanted to ask you is, I noticed on your profile that you also have done some stuff for OC Remix and Motive Collective. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, so I've been lurking the forums of OC Remix since they started, maybe 2001. It was pretty early on. I was a big fan of this idea of freely available video game music remixes and arrangements, and I think it's fair to say they were sort of the pioneers in that. 1999 was still pretty early in the internet's life, and so them making that available was quite innovative in the day, and the fact that it was all free meant that you didn't have to hunt it down, or you didn't have to feel bad about downloading it for free and playing it. And so I've always been interested and supportive in what they've done. I have a few tracks that are on the site for Donkey Kong Country and Final Fantasy IX. And I'm also going to contribute a track to an upcoming remix album for Terranigma.
Oh, okay. Sounds cool. I'll be sure to hopefully, if you could, maybe you could send those links to those remixes to me via here, and I can put them in the description when I post this video up. But that sounds. I bet you've done an amazing job, because OC Remix is one of my favorite remix sites of all time. I go there every so often. Big fan of the Sonic album, so yeah, I can't wait to hear what you've done OC Remix. What about Motive Collective? I know those guys are pretty well known for doing the Sonic album, but have you done anything for them?
Yeah, the Materia Collective. they kind of came out of nowhere, at least from my perspective, with their Materia album, which was a big like Final Fantasy VII remix project, and they've since grown into a rather large label. They, originally it was albums that were all remixes of a particular game, and since have expanded to original soundtracks and things like that as well, and sheet music, and it's really grown quite a bit in only a few years, and so I contributed to a Final Fantasy Tactics album, the Zodiac album. I have always been interested in doing more with that, but the work that I have keeps me busy enough that doing side fan projects isn't often in the cards right now, especially with 2 young children. So.
Yeah. Oh, I know that feeling all too well. I mean, I don't have any kids of my own, but I have 2 young nieces and 4 young nieces and nephews, and they are a handful. So yep. I know that feeling. But that's good to hear. Well, I will definitely take a listen to that too later. There was one more on your Twitter account that I noticed, VG Academy. Now that's a name I've never heard of. Could you tell us a little bit about that too?
Yeah, it's been around for a couple of years now, and I'm just trying to look up exactly when it started. It might not be somewhere obvious, but basically, the idea is that there's a lot of people, beginning composers especially, who want to compose music for video games, but there isn't a lot of resources for what to do if you're just starting out as a game music composer. I sort of discovered this as I already had work. I've been very fortunate in how quickly I was able to get work in the field from when I sort of decided to do so. But I know that for a lot of people, it's especially if all they want to do is compose music, usually they have to take, small contracts here and there for, for smaller projects or for individual tracks, compilation or something like that before they, have enough going to sustain themselves. And so VGM Academy exists to kind of help people get that start. It was created by Dan Halsman, who's a really great, passionate guy, and he really puts a lot into this resource that he basically does because he wants to help people, which is awesome.
Oh, that sounds cool. Well, I will definitely link him below in the description. I'll link that site below in the description. He sounds like a very amazing guy too. If you talk to him again, tell him that I appreciate all the hard work he has done to help out composers, because I know for a fact that in general for video games it's hard, but composers probably is the hardest because you have so much competition. Oh, were you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was just agreeing that I personally don't think as other composers as competition, but I also don't need to, because my role in that feels secure enough that I basically want to help other. I want to see other composers getting all the work that they can, but I know that it's like at the end of the day. The more people trying to look for the work, the harder it is to get recognized, especially if you haven't done any projects yet. That's
good that you want to help others. Let me see. He is one. So in addition, do you like? I know you probably have a lot of development time, but when you do get a free moment, what type of games do you like to play?
Yeah. So I really love adventure games. Visual novels like Phoenix Wright and Professor Layton. I grew up mostly on platformers. Especially Nintendo platformers, so Mario, Donkey Kong Country, and those kinds of things. I went through a substantial phase where I played a lot of JRPGs. I don't do that as much anymore, mostly because of the time commitment involved. And whenever I do start one, I rarely get to finish it. But those are sort of a genre that I think of fondly, and definitely find tends to have a very high quality soundtrack involved. And the ones that I tend to play more now, because of the fact that they're less time commitment, is puzzle games. Not so much like the Tetris or Match 3 style puzzle games as like first-person puzzlers like Portal, or puzzle platform games, like Limbo or something like that.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we have a Phoenix Wright fan on the Go gamers, so he'll appreciate hearing that. But
Yeah, oh yeah, I love those games. My wife doesn't play very many games, but that's a series that her and I play together, so it sort of has a special place.
Well, that's good that you share games with your wife too. That is a very special passion. I know a lot of people who met the loves through video gaming, so that's very cool. Heck, even one of my favorite artists met his wife before girlfriend through video gaming, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I was saying, yeah, that's great that people can connect on an interest that they're passionate about.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Do I have any other questions? So you are you looking for? So here's a question: How hard is it to compose music? Is it now I know it's not an easy field to get into. Nothing is really, but do you find it very hard to come up with a tune and a medley at times, or how do you get your start on a song?
Yeah, it varies from track to track. It depends what is needed for a particular moment in the game. If it's a character's theme, I usually start off with figuring out what the overall style and melody will sound like. If it's an environment, though, I'm much more concerned with the tone colors. So what sounds you hear as opposed to the melody or the harmony or anything like that. So yeah, most of the time I just fiddle away either on the keyboard if I'm trying to start off with just a melody harmony kind of thing, or I'll experiment with sounds if I'm trying to go for something where timbre is more important. So in virtual instruments you can have thousands of different sounds, and they're really hard to categorize in a searchable way, and so a lot of the times you just have to kind of listen to them and say, does that work, does that not work, or can I make this one work if I make some adjustments to it? So.
Oh yeah, that's definitely something that's very important. Well, I think that's a really good insight. So would you have any advice for anybody who wants to start composing, like if they wanted to start writing songs?
Yeah, I would say a lot of beginning composers try to, look at what's, modern or whatever, or what other people are doing and try to mimic that. And I think it's definitely important to have influences and to know what they are. But, each composer has their own unique strengths and weaknesses. And I think it's important to start with your strength. Whatever your strength is, start with that, because a lot of people think that whatever their strength is the easiest part of music. I've just noticed this, if somebody's really good at melody writing, they're like, oh, well, melodies are easy. It's like, well, not for that composer, it's not. If you find a particular aspect of composing easier, then that's what you should really hone in on, because that's probably where you're going to make the most progress the fastest in. And I would say, actually going through the process of composing is in general more important than reading a bunch of resources or watching a bunch of videos or whatever. That's not to say you shouldn't do that. In fact, you should, because it'll give you ideas that you hadn't thought of before. But the actual process of sitting down and writing something and not worrying about its quality so much as the fact that you've done it is more important than, only ever completing one piece of music in your life because you're so nervous about getting it right that you don't even start. And then, it takes a year just to write one piece of music or something. So
that is very, 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 very good. Good to hear from you. So, yeah, I think that's about it really in terms of questions. So, thank you again for letting me interview you, dude. Hopefully I will leave a link to all of your stuff below, as well as the company you work with, because I'm pretty sure everybody will want to check out all that stuff. And I wish you good luck in the future, dude. Hopefully someday we'll see all your games on console as well, because I would love to play them on the Switch.
I mean, if we were to bring them to consoles, that's the one I would definitely want it on. So, yeah, and thank you for not just taking the time to interview me, but all the work you do in sharing your love of game music and games in general with others.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's much appreciated.
Oh, yeah, it's nothing. Well, right back at you, dude. Thank you for taking the time out of your day for letting me interview you, and being on the Go Gamers channel is much appreciated, especially. So, yeah. All right, guys. Do you have any closing words?
No, just thanks again for, I guess, yes, since I am saying words. Yeah, thanks again for taking the time to do this, and I look forward to seeing you around, and hopefully, we'll see new composers popping up all the time for you to interview.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, trust me. That's me. This is only the second episode. I got a couple more people in mind I have my eye on.
I said awesome.
Alright. Alright, guys, that's all for now. Now, I will see you on the next video, and this is yours truly, DJ Music Clues, signing off. See you guys later. Cheers!